I am so thrilled. I'm so thrilled that the Leafs got to eliminate the Islanders because, man, 15 years ago, right? 15 years ago, the Leafs had the one playoff spot left by a point, right? And all the Islanders had to do was lose to the New Jersey Devils. New Jersey was already in that year. The Leafs just needed that 1 point lead. So all we needed was for the Islanders not to go to overtime and win it. You know what I mean? They had to get a win, and they did. And it was brutal. And it was like the year after they started doing the shootouts, right? So it came down to a shootout, and only a year before did they actually start doing that in the NHL in a tie game situation. And people said when they were going to do it, people said, do you really want someone's playoff berth to be decided by a shootout? Meaning that the team's involved in the shootout more than anything, right? Would you want your playoffs to be decided by a shootout? And if you did, then okay, you're on board with it. But you need to give it that sincerity, that weight. And we all laughed. We're all like, it would never really come down to that anyways, though, right? Like, it would never really do that. Well, guess what? It did. The very next year for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Right? So the Islanders won that shootout against the New Jersey Devils, and it broke my heart because it was only like the second year where they weren't in the playoffs. Right? They were doing well before that. So it was like, I thought we were there, man. And just these shootouts. Brutal, right? What a way to go. So it was nice. It was nice. And after all the crap talk we hear from them all the time, how much better they think they're doing without Tavares and everything. Well, your luck's run out now. So, we're still in. And yes, the Islanders have gone to second rounds and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like they've gone further into the playoffs. But I'm of the belief, man, that yes, there's positives to that, right? I would never slam a team for getting to a second or third round. It's obviously better for the team than being in the first round knockout, right? Obviously, you're getting more playoff experience in more intense situations. It's all great. But as a fan base, man, it's really tough. It's really tough to start chirping somebody when they don't get past the first round and your team gets to the finals and stuff. Every path is different in the NHL playoffs. Every path. And while I'll totally accept the trash talk because the results speak for themselves, your team got to the second or third round, mine didn't. As a Leafs fan, I do have to take a bit of that crap, rightfully so. But at the same time, especially in today's format, man, each path is different. And some teams get lucky from their predetermined path. The teams they end up going up against. Some teams don't. Some teams have to work super hard, harder than they should have to get to a finals or win a cup or whatever. It's not obviously all about luck, but at the same time, each playoff little branch is its own universe, and it's really hard to compare and say that, my team was better than yours because we got to a second round. Well, who were you up against? You know what I mean? That's a big part of it. Right? So, all in all, I'm just happy with what I saw. They didn't need 5+ goals. They didn't need 5+ goals at all, right? They just played their game. They boxed them out when they needed to. Campbell come up with some good saves there as well. You know what I mean? They were facing an Islander team that was staring playoff dreams in the eye tonight, which meant it felt more like a playoff game for the Leafs. And I'm really happy they can come away with basically a 3-2 win. I know it's 4-2 because the empty netter, but out of respect, when there's an empty netter, you should treat your opponent with the respect of it was really more of a 3-2 win, right? Because anybody would take that desperation chance of trying to get the tying goal by pulling the goalie. So it's a 4-2 win, but we treat it like a 3-2. So there's respect there. They played a good game, the Islanders did. They were coming at us with everything. I shouldn't say us, but Toronto, they were coming at Toronto with everything they had because they want to make the playoffs. And now they're out. So it was nice that the Leafs could just keep the low scoring and just play a solid game. Now, how many own goals, though? You guys brought up Kerfoot briefly there. You know what I mean? How many own goals do the Leafs have compared to other teams this season? I'd love to know that stat, and I can't find it anywhere. So if any of you guys find it, please get at me on Instagram, DM it to me, or just tag me in some post that might have it. I want to know how many own goals Leafs have this season compared to all the other teams. Because I swear, it feels like a league leading. Now, I don't get to see every game and every highlight, so there might be teams worse. But I'd be interested to know. Not to say that necessarily that means they suck or something, but even just to say that, hey, that is something you're dealing with, though, right? You know, for all those goals you see get racked up against our goalies are still letting in 3, 4, 5 goals a game, right? For most nights. And that's fine with me because I know where they're coming from. I'm not ragging on the goalies there with a comment like that. I know where they're coming from. You guys probably know where they're coming from, right? And own goals is a part of that problem. I swear the Leafs got to be somewhere near the top of the league right now in own goals. So if not, then it's just because I'm living in my Toronto bubble, right? And just like I've been ranting for too long now, I should get into what you guys are saying. Okay, I'm in my own bubble as well sometimes on this show. So thank you for snapping me out of it. Keep those comments coming. Guys, we made the 420 subscriptions on YouTube. So from what I'm told, that's a cool thing. I have no idea why. I'm just a hockey guy. I don't understand these things, and I'm old too. So the young folks tell me that making the 420 subscriptions is a cool thing. So thank you to all you folks on YouTube for doing that. And Twitch, of course, we're blowing it up every night with these wins and stuff. I really appreciate all of you coming out anytime you get the chance to, following along, hitting the alerts, hitting the subscriptions, hitting the cheers. All of it, man, means a lot. So here's a quick one to you guys, and then when I really start reading what you guys are saying. So make sure you're going off in that chat. All right? Let's do this.